God is coming to see us in a minute. This is living proof. You know, the red and the black and everything that you're seeing right there, these are not clouds. This black, this is smoke from the planet. And I've been trying to tell people, this is smoke from that planet. You see it? Planet hell. Planet hell. You know, this is the ring of fire. This is the end. This is death. And people coming here and playing games because they scared. People coming here scoffing and making a mockery because they're scared. And I'm not going to pay you no attention, because if you can look at the clouds that are white, and if you can look at the clouds and the smoke that is around there, they totally differ from what's above. Why are they different from what's above? Because they're not even from our planet. So what's above is kind of like angelic like clouds that's totally white, and what's below it, dark black, is red clouds. You know, and this is a ring of fire. It's a ring of fire right there in the mountains. What the hell is that? It is a red ring of fire glowing, you know, out of these smoke clouds. I don't know what that is. You know, the other day it looked like some spaceships that came out of, you know, and I videotaped it so people were like, oh, he's nuts. Well, they're in the sky, you know, and they're changing form right in the sky. I'm filming it. I guess my camera is nuts too, you know. But yeah, I guess I'm nuts because it's a red ring of fire right there. That makes me crazy. It makes me not know what I'm talking about. But this is danger. You know why? Because if the clouds above us is white and the clouds below us is black and red, that means the planet has went underneath us. When the planet has gone underneath us, according to science, not according to God, according to science, that planet is getting ready to lock onto us. And when the planet lock onto us, we are going to experience a pole shift, an earthquake worldwide that's so large that it's going to drag people underground, and things and buildings and the mountains are going to crumble. What are we looking at here? Now this is west. That was east. This is west before the sunrise. That was east before the sunrise. And what do we have? A full moon. What color is this moon? Blood red, pretty much, huh? See, you know it ain't effect, because how's the sky blue? It is a red glow around there, iron oxide dust. And what is the moon doing? Setting in the west, right between the mountains. And the lower it gets to the mountains, the more redder it becomes. But when it was higher up in the sky, it was pretty much white. You know. Okay, now let's think about this. The sun is over there in the east, so the sun is not making this red. I wonder what's making it red. The red planet that don't exist, see, is blue, but you can see that that's clearly red. So it ain't no effect. Everything would be red like that if you put an effect on it. But it is a red cloud around this thing, or a red haze. So this planet is right directly underneath us. What does that mean? We may not make it to the eclipse, because the moon is going to be turned to blood. And as you see, it's turning, folks. It's turning. You know, and like I said, I can't get through to you guys. It ain't like I ain't trying to get through to you guys. This planet hell is putting. So the other day I went. Usually the red is in the east. The red was all around us. If the red is all around us at the base of the mountains, that means the planet is directly underneath us. That means that as soon as the planet lock onto us, or the magnetic fields, it's going to pull and rock this motherfucker and rock us to death. And it is. You know, they suggest that you be at least 50 miles underground. I suggest that you be good with God. You know, and I'll put the camera around to show you that was east. This is east right here, and you can see the red, and you can see those dark black clouds, you know, right there. And then when you go all the way back around, and I'm just showing you the red, how is it red over there you know, in the east. That's the east. And then you go look in the sky, you know, black clouds, and you go all the way to the west again, and what do you see? A blood red moon that's setting. Zoom in on it. A blood red moon that's setting. So it's blood red in the east and blood red in the west. The planet is underneath us.
The electromagnetic field from this thing will be so strong because, see, if it comes up underneath of us, it's going to start and pull us toward it. And then, just like a pair of big magnets, all of a sudden it's going to lock onto us. And when it does, it's going to be like the Jolly Green Giant hit the earth in the ass. It's going to send a jolt 500 to 1,000 foot high. This is what I'm told. 500 to 1,000 foot high shock waves all the way around planet Earth.
And as God said, when his feet touch the mountains, it's going to sway north and south. Get ready for it. Wrap the news.
Of the earth, the great men, the rich men, the commanders, the mighty men, every slave and every free man, hid themselves in the caves and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, Fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath has come, and who is able to stand?
Now, we're going to start today by talking about the days of Noah. Jesus, talking to his disciples, and it's recorded in Matthew 24, said, But as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the coming of the Son of Man. In other words, as it was, and which then prompts us to go back and look at the days of Noah and find out how they really were. So let's talk about that for a little bit. We have the creation of man. We have the antediluvian civilization. And I think more and more is being learned about that time period. And you've done considerable research yourself. So let's talk about what interests you about the days of Noah.
Well, Matthew refers to the days of Noah in a generic sense. I believe there's quite a number of aspects to the days of Noah. What interested me initially was the scientific approach. What caused the flood? What does the Bible say happened to the earth before and after the flood? That gives us clues as to what happened. Is there evidence today that supports the theory as to what caused the flood? And is there any prophecies as to whether that event will reoccur in the future? Because if the phrase, as in the days of Noah, is true, very much all aspects of that time will be replicated in the future. And what I'm referring to specifically is we have come to the conclusion that part of one of these events is a pole shift that happened at that time, which was an instrumental part of the flood, which we feel the Bible supports it, and it also talks about an upcoming pole shift in the near future.
In other words, a pole shift then, which resulted in a flood. There will be another pole shift in the future, as described in Revelation.
Right.
But it will have a different effect than the one in the days of Noah. In fact, the Lord told Noah that he would never again destroy the world by flood, or by, I guess, totally covering it in water. But on the other hand, we read a lot of prophecy in Isaiah and other places that suggest a pole shift. I've got my Bible open here to Isaiah 24:20. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard. Well, that's a graphic description of something wobbling. And for something the size of the earth to wobble, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Tell us, what you see when you look at Scripture, both in Genesis and in Revelation.
Right, absolutely. The first thing is what you described. The type of pole shift we're talking about is not a magnetic pole shift, which scientists are saying the Earth flips on its north and south pole magnetic axis frequently. In fact, we have a wandering north magnetic pole. It's somewhere in the Hudson Bay right now. We're not talking about that type of pole shift. We're talking about a geographic pole shift, one that is incredibly dangerous to the Earth. It actually shifts the entire planet, as you mentioned, Isaiah talking about the planet wobbling. So let's look at the days of Noah before the flood. We find that before the flood, there's a description in Genesis 2:6 that the whole earth was watered by a mist. and that there was no rain. We know because of our axis shift today at 23.5 degrees, we have weather patterns, cyclones, tornadoes, we have rain all over the planet at any given time, lightning storms. They had none of this before the days of Noah. No rain. And it says specifically no rain fell on the earth, which means the whole earth was truly watered by a mist. The only way that could happen is if the axis of the earth was parallel to the axis of the sun. So as it spun on its axis in its rotation around the sun, it became a temperate climate. From North Pole to South Pole, the entire planet was basically a paradise, a garden. There was no polar caps at that time. We also see another clue as to the pole shift is that when the flood came, Genesis tells us that the fountains of the deep were broken up. There is, of course, references to the firmament in the sky, so there is possibly moisture in the air or a canopy. There is a canopy theory, but we believe that the scriptures, even though that may have fallen, if there was a canopy, the majority of the water came from the oceans. Now, if you have a pole shift and physically, geographically shift the poles of the earth, grab the earth, shift it, it would not only wobble but then stabilize at its current axis orientation of 23.5 degrees, but in the process, the centripetal force would slosh the water from the oceans around the planet. That there's more than enough water to cover every mountain on the planet. Now we look at Genesis and we see the effects of the planet after Noah. Mm-hmm. And we are clearly being told there is a rainbow in the sky, a rainbow that has never been seen before because there's a lot of moisture in the air. This was God's covenant to Noah that he would never destroy the earth again by a flood. Could he? Yes. The oceans are still there. He could, but he promises he won't. In fact, later on in the scriptures, we learn that he says that the next time he comes, he will destroy the world by fire. During the days of Noah, it was very clear what type of pole shift we are talking about, a geographic pole shift, where the entire planet actually moves 23.5 degrees. Or the whole planet moves, in this particular case, it was 23.5 degrees. Now, there is a much, much, much more devastating type of pole shift that has never happened on the planet. It is a crustal pole shift. It is one where the axis of the earth continues to spin the way it has been, but the entire outside crust of the planet suddenly shifts around the spinning axis. Mm-hmm. Now, remember when I said that the equator, wherever the equator is around the spinning axis, is about 20 kilometers wider? Well, as the crust shifts over this, the land literally has to rip apart in excess of 20 kilometers as it moves across the new equator and collapse back over. So it literally is going to rip apart most of the planet while this is happening. Let me read to you why I believe that the upcoming event is a crustal pole shift. Let me read to you out of Revelation 6:14 the actual description of this event. This is the opening of the sixth seal. And the heavens departed as a scroll when it was rolled together, and every mountain and every island were moved out of their place. What it's talking about is, think of just a quick analogy. Islands and mountains as carrots. They're on the surface, but their base goes far underground. And if you chop off every island and every mountain, if you take this verse literally, everyone on the planet, and everyone is moved simultaneously out of its place, you have a crustal pole shift. The more liquid center of the earth, the mantle, is stationary, and the crust is being ripped away from the center mantle. This type of pole shift would create lateral forces all over the planet, collapsing buildings, collapsing infrastructures, causing tsunamis, generating an EMP pulse from the center of the earth, basically disrupting all of our communication satellites. GPS would be down, all of our power grids would disappear. there would be massive high winds and an exponential increase in earthquakes all around the planet.
And islands being moved out of their places, that's not as easy as it sounds, because if, for example, the Hawaiian Islands are above the sea, but they widen out under the water, and they're on a very firm base. Let's put it this way, they have a firm foundation. But the Bible says islands like that are going to be ripped away, literally removed from their connection.
In fact, the Old Testament refers to this as well. Like you mentioned, Isaiah 13:13 says that the earth will be moved out of her place, meaning it won't even be in the same orbit. Whatever causes this pole shift, this crustal mantle pole shift, is also going to alter the orbit of the earth. Isaiah 24, the earth will reel to and fro as a drunkard. It won't even have cycles anymore. If you were alive at that moment and you looked up in the sky, the sun is moving in this direction for a few hours, it slowly diverts and moves into a different direction. So this would be...
All right, so hi everybody, it's 712 and Dean. We're back. How you guys doing?
Oh, good. Good.
Goodness gracious, Great Balls of Fire. I mean, I have to start the video with that because Dean saying that a minute ago, and it's like, wow, how many of the soupy doopy stars and all that stuff, Hollywood, just, what are they, I don't know, what have they been trying to tell us? Who knows? Oh my gosh, what is that? October 4th, 2017. Oh, it's the little fluffies that I caught a few days ago. What just popped to their right? What just happened right in front of our eyes? There's a little white ball that just literally popped into view to the right of those guys. What? Man, I didn't even know it. Look, y'all, it's the cockpit of heaven straight up. I would recognize those things anywhere. I really would. And the sun's all just blended into a stupid excuse for the deception down here, because there's still a few somethings big and lit up as can be. I mean, I don't even, just take your pick, man, whatever. I mean, check this out. It's the cockpit of heaven. And folks, last November when I first started noticing it, it took up about that much space on the sky at the exact same angle. And the few of you early people remember, it's just so much bigger and closer. There they are. Just like I told Jackie B a long time ago, it's like, they look like blue pods. What is that? So time check, 7:05. I mean, we're 10 minutes exactly from sunset. And look over here in the south. That's cray cray. Oh yeah. You think I forgot about the shadow things that were down, the not theirs, like there, right there. There's a freaking perfect delineation right there. The not theirs that are always there. The DNA strand looking thing. Oh my gosh, what are those? Oh, and there we go, a chem plane right in front of them. Oh, how convenient. I mean, there's two perfect little balls right there. And the big old stripe thing on the left. I don't even know. Thank you, 12, because he's the plane expert. I'll be, it's a meteor. 12 will be like, nah, it's a plane, dummy. Like, okay, I've learned to trust him. He's got binocs. He gets in on it. You know, it's nice to learn teamwork without even ever having talked about it, because we'd be reading each other's thoughts and just rolling with it. Trust each other. And they hid the thing that was down there. You jerks. You circle jerks. You. I'm just gonna call you guys the pinched crew. Oh, привет, два. That's my cat up there, boy. Tomb Raider lady number. She likes to be called 2 in Russian. It's very simple. What is that? Come on, man. You guys are... You're losing your touch. Losing your grip. And this hillside is full of people right now, too. Oh, there it is. There you are, baby. Come to Papa. Come here. Another white flash right next to it. Yeah, you're the thing that's got stuff flying around it. You are. I know you are. I know you are. You're my butterfly, ain't you? I know better than to be too flippant about the skies anymore directly. It's almost as if something can hear me. That might have been a bug. What is the flashing? Oh, and of course it's smoke. It's steam coming out of a tower. That's so interesting how now I'm just not sure. But I am sure about that. Where is it? That right there. There's a little pocket of something right there. Oh my gosh, Dean just showed me this. 12 went somewhere today, and he was in the parking lot of the place, and he caught that. What is that?
I think Steve Wilson commented about it. Other people are seeing this orange orb around the world.
What in the world is that?
I don't know.
12 is the man. Something he sees and photographs. Some of the most wicked stuff. And all these, and all these orbs were below it in the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've caught those before. And they make big geometric figures if you study them.
Yeah.
Enough. Almost. I mean, I was just asking Dean, how is there a giant, perfect, huge circle in the sky? Oh, and there's a circle inside of a circle.
I know, I was talking to my wife about that. You don't see perfect things in nature. Nature don't work that way.
What are those? There's always a circle inside of a circle with a little circle right next to the big circle. That is stupid. Wow. And look. What? Man, I just got chills. Whew. My head got cold. What are those? Oh yeah, a choo-choo train of perfect circles skirting across the sky as something's getting ready to nibbies at me. Wow, what just flew past? That one was a bug. Now I know the ones that aren't bugs or birds, but
No, I know.
But this time of night, you know, the birds and bugs are definitely out. So I mean, again, I just.
But like I felt that cold chill when you said that, and the frequency in my head changed.
It's because we're awake, boy. I'm getting nibby zapped. Go right ahead. I'm done filming, punks. Getting cold and boring down here, and I'm hungry. I don't mind going home at night. It's so funny. The more I look at the skies, the more I'm really glad to get home. For real. Nibby Zap. Oh, in fact, you're doing me a favor. I love it how you guys play right into my hand.